to meet with Sarkozy, and then she'll go to the Georgian capital of Tbilisi to meet with the president there. And in the bottom box, where is Caylee? It has long been an answer. Are we doing emails right now? We're going to the panel first. We're doing emails right now. We asked the question America's talking about, which is, is the Anthony family now, are they starting to cover up, do you think, for their daughter Casey? You know, the grandfather came out saying that he believes his granddaughter was kidnapped and that they are under surveillance. We want to hear your responses now. Molly Lyons has a couple of them here from the media desk.
Yeah, America is certainly talking about this case ever since Caylee's disappearance. Heather says she doesn't buy the story, and the babysitter's excuse doesn't add up. She's not going there. Michelle from California says George refuses to admit his daughter is lying. He may be in denial about this whole thing. Marcia says, if kidnapped, where's the ransom note? So she's getting a little bit more involved there. And June from Ohio says Casey needed cash. What if they left Caylee for collateral?
Yeah. So. And none of the stories, by the way, Molly, thanks very much. None of these stories have checked out. I want to head over to Marnie Kavanaugh. None of the stories that cops have checked into, that Casey, Cindy, any of them have said have really checked out. So there is a huge credibility issue here as we go to Marnie Kavanaugh with some more emails.
Yes, Trace, we're getting hundreds of emails in on this topic. One came in to us from Laura. She lives in the same hometown as the Anthonys. She said that her city has become like a small town, and that the only time that the Anthonys are not lying is when they're not talking. And she's angered by the amount of time and resources the community has been spending to let these people keep playing their horrific games, she says. Wow. Pat from Summerfield, Florida, she says she just cannot believe how much in denial these grandparents are. And she's hoped they're wrong, but she's hoping she's wrong, but she doesn't think so. But she thinks they're lying just to protect their daughter.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, is these emails keep flooding in. Marnie, thanks very much. The emails keep flooding in. It has really captivated the nation's curiosity to find out what did happen to Caylee Anthony. Jamie's in Studio D with more on the panel.
Trace, thanks. Not only what happened to Caylee, but also this mysterious behavior of the grandparents. 3-year-old Caylee Anthony has been missing for almost 2 months. Her grandfather now saying she was definitely kidnapped and letting the public know that her kidnapper is under surveillance. Caylee's mother is still in jail. She's charged with felony child neglect, lying to investigators in the case. Her bond, she tried to get it reduced, denied. But beyond her claim that her daughter was kidnapped, well, Fox caught up with George again just moments ago. Listen.
I'm not going to come up with any more of these little things. Sure, I got my own suspicions. I've said that for days now. I believe my daughter. I know that someone has my granddaughter. They do. And I said about how I thought about people being observed and all this other kind of stuff. I'm being watched.
Bill Stanton is a private investigator, former NYPD officer, and Fox's Phil Keating is joining me as well. He's live from outside the Anthony home in Orlando. Phil, stand by for a second. George Anthony, Bill, is a former police officer, a deputy, pretty high in the ranks. He's retired. Why would he say, we know you kidnapped our granddaughter, we know you're out there and you're being watched? It's like a threat if you're really worried about Caylee's safety. Does that put holes in the story?
Well, at best, he's trying to protect his daughter. At worst, in my opinion, he's complicit in a crime after the fact. I mean, the disinformation, the misinformation, the lies that are going back and forth. America is passionate about this for that child, and it's a disservice to that child what these grandparents are doing, in my opinion.
You don't believe any of it?
No, absolutely not. They could tell me the sky is blue at this point, and I would question that.
Phil, I wonder today, in the back of my mind, they are keeping Casey separate from the rest of the population. She apparently qualifies for that. Is somebody coming out of the house, Phil?
Yeah, the mom just arrived. Grandmother just arrived.
Did you want to run up to her? I don't know if you're wireless.
She's going to close the door and go inside. Well, she hasn't done that yet. Let's take a look. Let me quickly get you up to date, Jamie, on what exactly the Sheriff's Department just said in that roundtable. Number one, they have not launched a massive search of an area where you'd see dozens and dozens of...
Oh. Okay, well, be patient with our satellite. Here we go.
Patient to go.
Talked a while with the sheriff's detectives this morning. What kind of light were they able to shed on you as you spoke with them?
Nothing. It was just, it's just a relationship building experience. We exchanged information, and it's just an ongoing thing that we're going to continue to do. It seems like it's working out very well, and it makes, I think I think our focus is finding Caylee, and I just heard that there was a press release from the Sheriff's Department today stating that. So,
Cindy, do you have any idea, or can you share exactly where Casey and Caylee were between the mid-June point and mid-July when finally Casey revealed to you that Caylee had been missing?
you know, I don't know. I can't say exactly where she was at. That's what we're trying to piece together. I know some of her friends have stated certain days where she's at, and that's a timeline that the Sheriff's Department's working on.
The Sheriff's Department just said right now in their roundtable that the reason they haven't done a massive search with volunteers and sheriff's deputies going through any area is because they believe, number one, only Casey could help lead them to a location to start, and number two, they say they can't really investigate the kidnapping claim because the only starting point they have to pursue that lead is an apartment nearby that was actually vacant for 142 days, according to the apartment complex.
Well, I haven't heard them make those statements.
This is brand new.
Talking to them today, you know, they have been looking for Caylee as a missing child. So Casey doesn't have her, so that just leaves the kidnappers. So, you know, draw your own conclusions.
Is there any chance that you are able to push your daughter to provide more information?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I know we've had 5 meetings canceled between you, Lee, and Casey. Investigators are clearly hoping to glean more information, better leads to go with from Casey. Is there the potential that you have a scheduled visit with Casey tomorrow, that you, Lee, your son, or your husband, George, are perhaps trying to urge her, to talk more, or is it simply a memory problem, or has she told him everything you think she knows?
As far as I know, because I haven't gotten to speak with Casey privately, I believe she's told them everything that she can possibly tell them and ensure the safety of Caylee. And so naturally, we encourage her all the time to, if she has any additional information to share. Again, she does not know where Caylee's at, and that's the problem.
That means the investigation right now remains essentially at a standstill, with investigators saying, Casey, please share more information with us, otherwise we can't go forward, and Casey essentially indicating, I've told you everything I can, please find my daughter Caylee.
I don't think the investigation's at a standstill at all. I was just there today seeing the inner workings of stuff like I have all week, and it's not at a standstill at all. I mean, they're following up on leads and tips every second of every day, working 24 hours, a day on this. So the investigation's not at a standstill. There may be things that they can't talk to you guys about, which is, is a given. So, I mean, it may seem like a standstill to you guys because you don't have any new additional information.
But just a moment ago, they said that they cannot start a kidnapping investigation, or at least get going on one, because all they have is a vacant apartment where this alleged Zenaida Fernandez-Gonzalez lived, and they can't conduct any kind of search for an area with massive numbers of volunteers and deputies because they feel Casey hasn't provided the key information they need to actually initiate that.
Well, again, like I stated a few seconds ago, I have not heard that statement. You have an advantage of me. I didn't hear the press release. I just heard from someone as I was pulling up that they did make an announcement today that they are looking for a missing child. So, that's their statement.
All right, thank you, Cindy. That's Cindy Anthony, the mother of Casey Anthony, who, of course, is the 22-year-old mother of still missing Caylee Anthony, whose birthday was Saturday, this past Saturday, where she turned 3 years old. And additionally to the things I just questioned Cindy about in the roundtable with reporters about an hour ago, they also indicated that they simply cannot go forward. They don't want private investigators with the family attorney, the attorney representing Casey. They don't want them to conduct their own private investigation because they're reporting that, through the parents, that, people and locations are being watched, and the investigators say, look, this is a criminal law enforcement job. We don't want amateurs out there.
Phil,
perhaps
got to ask you to stand by.
Jamie.
Much more after the break. Stay right where you are. We'll be right back.